What's going on, guys? Welcome back to the DX Camera Show. My name is Mike, aka Operation DX, and welcome to episode 14, where we are continuing our Duna mission with our unmanned probe. So we left off, we were still doing our aerobraking maneuver around Duna, and then pretty much just collecting science along the way and transmitting it back to Kerbin. Unfortunately, we're not getting a ton, but we should still get a decent amount with all the stuff that we are doing. Now that I'm out of the atmosphere of Duna, I'm just redeploying my solar panels so that I can just transmit that science off. I didn't put a huge battery on this guy, so just got to be careful with the power so I don't run out, that kind of thing. Shouldn't be an issue as long as I have those solar panels deployed. So now that I've got myself in a stable orbit around Duna, which is also part of the contract, by the way, I'm actually off to go to Ike and put myself in a stable orbit around Ike and then actually land down collecting science all along the way. So here we are on the outer edge of Ike's sphere of influence, and once again transmitting that valuable science so that I can unlock some more goodies in the tech tree. I'm kind of looking forward to that. Now, I'm actually surprised that this lifter was able to do all of this. I wasn't sure. I should have had more faith in this design, but it was really only designed to do the 2 moons around Kerbin. I think because I shed a ton of weight on the top of the craft with this kind of like core probe design, it was able to accomplish all of this, which is good. I was also considering peeling off the secondary landing legs on this guy, and I'm glad I didn't, because you can see I still have a lot of fuel in that tank, and I would have never have been able to do all that I'm doing in this particular mission, where I'm pretty much accomplishing both the exploration contracts in one go. So it's just good that I didn't do that. So here I'm once again having my standard issue that I have when I'm landing down on different bodies around Kerbin, and that is that everything is really sloped. Fortunately, this time we can leave the SAS on, but this is just a really steep slope. Looks like in the darker area in front of us we have a little bit of a flatter surface, as it looks like it curves back up. So that's where I'm going to try to put the craft down and just land it. Now, I realize that this isn't quite as cool as some of the stuff that I did in my .22 series when I made it to Duna. I can't remember what I did for the first time when I got to Duna. I think I just did kind of a standard mission. I don't remember exactly. I'll probably have to go back and watch some of those episodes. But afterwards, I did this like crazy landing where I deployed like 2 rovers and a spacecraft all at once, and they all had parachutes on them, and I had to like pay attention to them all simultaneously. That was like one of the most crazy things I've done in Kerbal Space Program. I'm gonna have to like go back and see what episode that is, because that was definitely pretty cool here. So anyways, landing down on Ike, everything's going pretty smooth. Plenty of fuel here to get myself back to Duna. I think Ike's moon is maybe a little bit smaller than Kerbin's, and once again I did that thing. Even though this is a relatively flat surface, sometimes I just like to watch the craft come down and settle in instead of pay attention to the nav ball. So I was not watching my how fast I was moving in that direction, and yeah, ran into a bit of an issue. But for the second landing here, no problem. Not getting Kerbals out of this guy again, so don't have to worry about it too much. So here we go. Just got to collect my science, transmit it off back to Kerbin, and that pretty much wraps up the Ike exploration contract. And then I simply just have to get back to Duna. So once I think I just transmit that one thing, I'll get that little flash. There we go, in the upper right corner, pretty much indicating that I completed that phase of the contract. I am going to have so much credits, cash, money. I always say the same thing because I don't know what to call the money in the game. After this mission, it's going to be great. So I'm going to have a lot of breathing room. And then here we're just kind of looking, seeing how much science I've had. So I've made a little bit of science. We still have a little more science to get when we actually get back to Duna there and land down I don't know if I get lower atmosphere science. I think I do. And then I get science for landing down and get that all transmitted. Now, I think when I come back here with Kerbals on board and I do these experiments and actually bring them back to Kerbin, I get all of this science again, or maybe just a little bit less. I'm not sure, but that would be crazy, and I would actually be getting a ton of science from this mission overall, which would be good. Which would be good because the tech tree in the later phases, you need a bunch. You need a bunch. We're getting to that phase in the tech tree where you need about 300 science per unlock, and right now I could only get a couple things. I hope I end up with somewhere around 900 science after this mission. That would be good, so I can at least unlock a couple of the big tier things. I'm not sure what I'm going to go for. I'm really kind of wanting the nuclear engine, but I'm also kind of wanting stuff that, like maybe the refueling stuff. I don't know. I don't know what to go for. We'll see there. I think the nuclear engine is actually a little cheaper than actually getting the new ISRU stuff. I think that is top level tech tree stuff here. So we have a little bit more fuel to burn in our main tank. It's not going to be enough. Well, technically, I probably could save it. I don't know. It's almost like I could send this whole craft back to Kerbin, but that's not what it's designed for. It's basically going to land down and be done here. But what I'm going to do is I'm pretty much going to burn off the remainder of the fuel to slow this craft down, and that should help with the parachutes. And it has one more phase with the LV-909 with just a small tank there, as you can see where the landing legs are, and that's just to help slow down just in case the parachutes aren't enough. But this probe core is pretty light. It's just the fuel tank that weighs quite a bit in the engine, but that was as a precaution. I was kind of thinking of using those radial engines, but they were getting in the way of other stuff in the rocket and stuff, especially when I decided to use the moon launcher. It was getting in the way of everything. So I ended up using an LV-9. Once I realized, too, that the atmosphere is thinner in Duna and those engines react a little better. So, again, going down. And this time we are going down hard through the atmosphere. And we're not heading too fast, actually. So I guess we're not going to see those heat indicators. You see them in the higher speed ranges, like 2,000, 3,000 meters per second. And so that's a good thing to know, because that means we don't have to put like heat shields and then engines in the heat shields, because I wasn't sure what I was going to do if this whole mission went bust. So clearly, like, I've got a really good idea of like stuff to come back here, but I'm sure we'll get contracts to other places. And of course, we've been completing all of these really hard 3-star. Well, they're not hard. I don't consider them super difficult, but we've been completing all these 3-star contracts. So maybe in the contracts they'll start giving me more of those, which probably means I'm going to get more money in science, which is definitely a good thing. All right, so here I go to the point where I'm just going to burn off the rest of this tank, eject it, and land down. Anyways, I suppose the next logical step for Duna would probably be a rover to try to get some different biome science, but I think I'm pretty comfortable with building something that I can send some Kerbals over here, because, like I said, it seems like there's a lot more science, but I don't know if the contracts are going to send me back here to do that. I mean, obviously I have to come back to Ike to set up that base, and that's probably going to be an unmanned craft as well, because I want to hold on to my Kerbals for some of those other missions and stuff. So hopefully we get like an Eve mission. You know, I don't know how the Moho thing is going to go down. Of course, the mission to Jewel would be, that's where I got, like, in my last series, a ginormous amount of science, because I did a ton of science around all the moons and stuff. And yeah, I can't remember exactly how much I got, but it was like crazy amounts of science. Anyways, things here are looking pretty good. Got my parachutes deployed, finished burning off that last phase. And what makes me a little uncomfortable about Duna is the parachutes like take their time deploying, because it seems like we are awfully close to the ground. You know, even though it says we're 3,000 meters above the surface, our actual level above the surface is it's lower than that for sure. And I think also Duna has like the highest, like it's got a really high mountain or whatever. It's like the highest mountain in the game. So it's like, yeah, it's a little deceptive. Anyways, they did deploy there, and it looks like, you know, I'm getting about 8 meters per second. These landing legs, I didn't double check them, but they probably could handle an 8 meter per second impact. But I'm still going to, just at the last minute, burn my LV-909, and I don't know, just it'll land down nice and safely. I'm also going to enable my SAS because it's hard to tell like if it's a really bad hill I'm coming down on. And I would just hate to come down last minute this thing and tilts over, falls on its side, and then like I'm not able to like transmit, you know, science anymore or whatever. Well, I mean, this probe's essentially done once it lands and transmits its surface science anyway, so whatever. I don't think I'm coming back to get this thing. This is a permanent fixture on Duna once it lands down and transmits that science. Unfortunately. Yeah, there's not much I can do with it. I mean, I could technically try to lift it back off and get it into orbit. I don't know if I would have enough in this tank. I could try it. I don't know. Maybe I will. That is for later, though. Anyways, landing down here, firing up my engine, just being careful, and there we go. Good to go. And with that, we can pretty much call this mission accomplished. This worked out quite well. It gave me a lot of insight into what I'm able to do here around Duna. Of course, I have no idea when it comes to Eve or Jewel. We'll cross that bridge when we get there, I guess. Probably. I don't know if I'll send the unmanned probe thing here. I don't know. I just don't know. I don't want to kill any Kerbals on my air experimentation phases, trying to figure out what works. And like I said, I think it was 10,000 meters before is what you wanted to aerobrake. Now it's like 15,000, so it seems a little thicker. Yeah, but holy cow, we got a lot of stuff done. So there we go, transmitting our last bit of science. That pretty much wraps up the Duna exploration mission. Awesome. So now we have a little bit of science to play with in the next episode. So real quick, I'm just going to check the little icon there that lets us see how we did there, if we accomplished all the tasks, which I just love that you can see that on the fly. And it looks like we've done everything we need to do. Got all green check marks on pretty much both there, Duna and Ike, and a few on the other contract that we need to finish there. But that is good. So after run out of power here, but it really doesn't matter. I guess I got to kind of speed up time here a little bit. These solar panels recharge that battery really quickly because, like I said, it's a small battery. And these are a little bit better than those static solar panels that you stick on. They don't get a ton of energy. That's why I wanted to make sure that I got a little better solar panels as quickly as possible. And then after we're done sending this, we're essentially going to go back to the Space Center and check on all that cash and fame and all that good stuff that we picked up here. Wow, we're able to transmit again. That is quite interesting. I don't know why we're allowed to do that. Usually you can only do it once. Maybe something went wrong because I was running out of power or something. That's kind of a weird thing. I've not seen that before. So I'm just going to speed up time real quick here, fill my battery up. It goes real quick. Then just retransmit that. Sorry, guys. A little bit, boy, for the holy cow. Look at that. 3 million cash and 700 plus science. Nah, that's okay. I was kind of hoping for about 900 science so I could unlock like 300 or at least 3 of the 300 tier science packages, but that's all right. We did okay. We did good. All right, just double checking, making sure that I can't once again transmit more science, you know. All right, so back to the Space Center. And as we saw, we looked there, we saw that we have 3 million credits to work with, which is fantastic. And we accomplished all kinds of stuff there, so lots of fame. And oh, on the top of there, we have a little blue smidge there and the fame thing coming up. So looks like we're doing quite well. And just going through all of these. Yep. That was a very good, very successful mission. We got a lot done there. Okay. Well, that's pretty much it. Thanks for watching, guys. I'll see you next time. Have a great day. Take care.